Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm going to be showing you the absolute best terrain that I've ever printed. A few weeks back, I backed Fabricators Layer's foldable terrain campaign for tabletop gaming. And after getting these off the printer, I was so impressed. Just to be transparent, I purchased these myself, but I did reach out to the creator and he gave me permission to credit him in the pinned comment and the description so I could post that. So definitely check the pinned comment and the description to support this incredible work. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the 4 calibrations that you should be doing when you are trying to improve your 3D prints. And also, we're going to be going over the actual printing of the terrain, and finally, the ease at which we were able to assemble this terrain. And just a quick shameless plug for the Patreon, guys. We are growing the community Patreon Discord there. If you ever need access to, or if you want access to my printer profiles for Light Cheese Slicer presets for auto-generated supports, for Orca Slicer, what I use for all my workflow, private tutorials, just want to show off your paints and stuff like that, your miniatures, even if it's resin, guys, make sure to check out the Patreon, and we'd love to have you over there, and you are able to support what I'm doing here and keep the content flowing. Let's get back to the video. What makes these special is that they're designed to be printed in place. There's no supports, there's no mess, there's no real thinking on your part. There's even a multi-color printer setup. If you have that, you can use the color profiles that already come. There's 3MF files included. But me, I only have a single color printer. I don't have a multicolor printer. But even with one color, they just look absolutely fantastic. For this build today, we're going to be using the JO3D high-speed PLA, gray and white. They were kind enough to send this out a few weeks back. I've been kind of using it for everyday prints around the house. I printed a few objects. You've probably seen this in a few of the videos. This was using their PLA, a few other things around the house. And today, we're going to be using it to print this amazing terrain. So just a thank you for them for sending it out. I will put links in the description and the pinned comment for this speed PLA if you want to check it out. So sometimes when you're printing large terrain structures, it can be a hassle with supports and removing supports and dialing your supports and all that stuff. This whole set here was created with FDM printing in mind. So it's supportless. It's just literally, you can just drop it into your Orca Slicer and you can send it to print. Now, all these prints were done on the K2 Pro back here. That one has my 0.4mm nozzle, and we printed everything at a 0.20 layer height. It was truly plug and play. However, if you want to get perfect results, or if you want to improve your results, I always suggest that you run a few calibrations. The first thing you're going to want to do is create a filament profile. So you can call it whatever you want. Let's call this, for me, I used JO Fast PLA, and ensure that your flow ratio is set to 1.0 and make sure that pressure advance is checked off in the filament settings. You're going to run a Temp Tower first. And to do this, you're going to set your range between 200 to 215. I don't recommend leaving it at the 230. You're probably never going to be printing PLA at 230C. So I definitely recommend leaving that off when you're running the Temp Tower. After you run the Temp Tower with your ranges, you're just going to look for the one that has the best results, the best overhangs, the best layer appearance there, and just choose that one. And just like that, that becomes your temperature for your PLA. You're going to set that as your other layers. And usually a rule of thumb is your first layer temperature is set about 10 degrees Celsius higher. So if you landed, for me, I landed at 210. My first layer is going to be 220. After that, we're going to move into the flow ratio test. Now remember, we set in our filament profile that we duplicated or recreated, we set that to a 1.0. You're going to do your flow ratio test, and you're going to find the smoothest finish here. No gaps. Make sure you're doing the YOLO recommended. After the calibration test is finished, run your fingernail across each of the results. You can put under a harsh light. And what you're looking for is the smoothest. You're looking for the one where the layer lines look the smoothest. There's no bulging, there's no gaps. And for example, if the best one for you is -200 or 0.02, you're going to take that and you're going to subtract it from your flow ratio that you had already set to 1. So for example, in this situation, it would be 0.98 or 98 hundredths would be your dialed in flow ratio for that filament. Afterwards, you're going to run your pressure advance. So for this one, after you generate there, I suggest doing the PA line, and you're just gonna identify the line that is the most consistent. There's gonna be no bulging, no breaks. Make sure that prior to running this test, that you go back to your filament settings and you set the first layer to what your dialed in other layer setting was. And that's because the PA line is only one layer test. So you want to set that to whatever your other layers were. So for example, I would have set mine to 210. You're going to run that. Again, you're looking for the line that has the least bulging, the no breaks. For me and my filament, the JO high-speed gray, I landed at 0.056. So I just put that in, enabled PA, and locked in that value. Finally, the last test that I recommend running is, and this is to kill your stringing here, is to run the retraction test. So by default, the retraction test is going to ask you to run from 0, a range of 0 to 2. I suggest not running retraction ever that high. What I recommend you do is you run it between 0 and 1.2 millimeters. Don't go higher than that. You might risk over retracting and causing a jam. Just look for the tower that has 0 stringing. For example, if it's the first layer, since our intervals are 1/10, your retraction is 1/10. If it's the second layer, it's 2/10, and so forth and so forth. Usually, for the most part, you're likely to land somewhere between 3/10 and 6, 7, or 8/10, depending on your PLA that you're using. And just like that, you're dialed in. You've done probably what I think, in my opinion, the most important calibrations to do. Now look how great these prints turned out. Absolutely no issues with this. And I know that Fabricator's Lair is constantly updating it, because I've been receiving those emails that he is actually going in there and updating certain files, I guess adding stabilizers where people have asked for some stabilizers. But again, no issues with any of these prints, guys. The 0.2 layer height at the 0.4 millimeter nozzle with the dialed in JO PLA, just absolute great results. I kind of wish that I had a multicolored printer to test out, because I think that would have looked so cool. It almost, the color on this gray PLA is like phenomenal. I almost kind of just want to leave it there and only paint a little bit. But I was so impressed with it. I also was able to print the mats here. So these are the terrain markers here. 2 of them. These are the 7.5 by 11.5 inches. They're included also in the campaign, so that was easy to do. And I also printed one of these boxes here, these crates here, for another part that I'm doing. I'm actually going to print all of it. From what I've read in the instructions, it takes about 1.5 kilograms to print the entire table that you're going to need for your wargaming needs. As far as assembling goes, it was quite easy to assemble. I actually chose the filament hinge. There are 2 options of hinges that you can use. You can use their snap-in hinges. So for the floors here, you can use the snap-in hinges, which you would just pop in, obviously, and then that would be it. I decided to try the filament hinges, and I had some spare filament. Probably you're like me, you have a few rolls lying around with a little bit of filament. Well, this is a great use for that. So you put the floors on, and you just kind of cut your filament, you thread it through, and you cut the end. If you leave a little bit out extra, that makes it easy for you to remove the filament. If that's what you want to do, you get some pliers and you pull out the filament. Otherwise, what I found was simply taking a hobby knife and cutting underneath, just folding it and cutting in between would cut the filament line, and you just remove it as well. But the ease at which it folds and closes, easy storage, I don't think there's really a need for that. I've got a lot of painting ahead of me, guys. Likely, I'll be taking these outside and rattle canning them, because it's going to be a lot to print the whole table, and I want to be outside when I'm doing that. So I'm probably going to get a little rattle can here and just kind of go these. I really want to do a like Fenrisian winter style color scheme. So we're thinking grays, maybe a little bit of blues, some whites in there. And I think that's going to look absolutely killer with my army here. But you can see I got quite a bit of painting to do. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check out Fabricator's Lair, guys. Amazing prints here. And again, thank you for JO for providing the filament that we use in this. Super impressed with that. I'll have that in the link in the description, affiliate link there, and you can help support me. And also in the pinned comment. Well, I got to get to work, guys. So I will see you guys later.